Hi guys, it's the Real Lady J here, and today we're going to talk about Sam's story, the latest DLC for Metro Exodus. Sam's story takes place after the events of Metro Exodus and follows Sam on his quest to make it home to the United States. I'll play the quick intro now. If you don't want to watch the intro and want to get straight into the review, go ahead and skip to 2 minutes 50 seconds in this video, or click the timestamp in the description.
Parting with my friends was hard, but for them, the Colonel's death signaled the end of their journey and the beginning of a new life on the shores of Lake Baikal. For me, the loss became a threshold between the Order and my own life, between duty and my dream to see Dad again. And like Artyom before, I chose to pursue my wild dream. Along the way, I sometimes felt that the trees, ruins, and leaning wire posts vanishing behind were just an endless movie reel projected onto a ragged screen just for me. A lonely late-night viewer in an empty theater. Yet, every morning, the sun rising dead ahead brought another change of scenery, making sure that I was, in fact, getting closer to the Pacific. One step at a time, slowly but steadily, no matter the obstacles on the way. One day, sitting in a recliner on my dad's porch, I might actually be tempted to start a book about this trip or something. One day. But not here. Not now. I see the town that's to become my springboard for a leap across the ocean, and I smell salt in the air. If there really is even a slight chance of me ever getting home, I will find it here.
Where to begin? I played through the story start to finish in about 7 hours. It may feel a bit short if you're expecting to get the experience of an entire game out of it, but for anyone just looking for a fun little side story after completing Exodus, I think you'll enjoy it. The plot's pretty good, and the characters are generally engaging, even though some of the voice acting was a little cheesy at times.
With us! Take him alive! Take this! Fuck off! Go to hell! And stay down!
I did feel like they tried to add a bit more humor than they usually do, which was refreshing. It wasn't over the top in any way, just little bits here and there that made me chuckle.
Nice guy, but you lack respect. Respect of your elders. I mean, why aren't you drinking? Hey, Ed! I'm here. You are?
Gameplay isn't anything different from what we've seen in the other Metro titles. You spend some of your time fighting mutants, some of your time fighting men, and the rest exploring the toxic wasteland. Ammo's in short supply, and you must pick your fights accordingly. As with any other Metro, I'd recommend going for headshots as much as possible, especially when fighting mutants. And let's be honest, shooting things in the head is just way more fun and satisfying. When it comes to human versus human combat, most of the time it's a guns blazing all-out battle, but you do still have the option to go stealth once you've acquired the proper gun attachments, or you can go the melee throwing knife route for an added challenge. Gunplay is fun, although I did seem to run into a hit reg problem sometimes where I would have a shot lined up dead center, and then I would pull the trigger, but my bullet was nowhere to be found. This can lead to some frustration if you're trying to be stealthy or you're low on ammo and are needing to make every shot count. I completed my playthrough on normal difficulty. I usually go for hard in games, and I even played Exodus main story on hard, but I feel like due to the fact that controls and performance tend to be a bit clunky in Metro titles, raising the difficulty can end up being more of an annoyance than a challenge. I did run into a few bugs here and there, but nothing that I would consider game-breaking. The worst one that you can hear in pretty much every clip is the beeping sound that plays to let you know you're going to need to change your gas mask filter. And that was present through almost the entire game, unfortunately. Let's talk briefly about performance. I'll start by saying that it wasn't the best, but it wasn't unplayable. I ran this game using a GTX 1080 Ti at 1440p resolution and was usually able to keep 60 plus FPS on high settings. For performance nerds like myself, you may find yourself slightly disappointed by the sometimes poor optimization. I prefer 100 FPS or more for first-person shooter games, and it was rare that I was getting frames anywhere near that. Even on my fairly powerful hardware, there were areas where I would drop down around 40 to 50 frames, which I personally don't consider acceptable for a AAA title. It was still very playable, and the visuals themselves look great. I will throw out a suggestion for the entire franchise though. Provide more graphics options. PC gaming is only getting bigger, and part of what people like about it is the ability to tailor their experience. In 2020, you should be able to disable things like motion blur, mouse acceleration, and anti-aliasing. You should be able to adjust things like field of view, shadows, and textures. I'm not quite sure why they continue to leave these features out of Metro games, but I hope that it changes in the future. All this being said, I did have fun with this one, and for $18, it's not a bad deal. I'm sticking this one with a 3.5 out of 5. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, throw a like up there. Leave a comment down below if you think you're going to give this one a try. Make sure to subscribe for future content, and I'll see you in the next one.